Hey, has someone ever asked you to bend the truth? Have you ever had a deal that looks profitable, but something about it just isn't right? How about a client crossing a line and you're tempted to tolerate it because the check clears? Or an employee delivers results, but keeps violating the company culture? And you say you care? In business and in life, you're eventually going to run into moments that test you. These moments are completely unavoidable. And when they show up, the outcome isn't decided by your strategy or your experience. It's decided by who you are at the basic fundamental level. And that's where immutable laws come in. Immutable laws they're the rules you live by, whether you've ever named them or not. They define you. They define your business. And they aren't written policies or mission statements. They're the internal lines you refuse to cross, even when crossing them would be easier or seem more beneficial at the moment to you. Immutable laws are a blend of your ethics, your values, and your personal standards that you hold yourself to. They determine what's right to you and what isn't, what you'll tolerate and what you won't. But here's the important part. You already have them. Most people don't decide consciously what their immutable laws are. They discover them. You discover them when something happens that really bothers you. You discover them when you walk away from a situation and think, I don't care what it cost me, that was the right call. Have you ever compromised on something and then felt deep down something was nagging, discomfort that didn't go away? That's the voice of reason for you. It's not fear. It's either alignment or the lack of it. Immutable laws trigger that inner voice that won't let things slide. They push back when you violate them, and they give you peace when you honor them. And that's not a coincidence. That's your inner self-guidance. I've worked with businesses who are doing well on paper, revenue is good, business looks successful, at least from the outside, but internally, the owners, they were worn down. And when we talked deep, talked honestly, the issue wasn't how much work or the workload. It wasn't even how hard things were. The issue was they compromised. They compromised by saying yes to clients that weren't in their zone. They kept giving team members who violated trust. And they made decisions that didn't align with who they believed they were or where they were going. And over time, that misalignment showed up as stress, frustration, burnout, and wondering who they were anymore. Once they identified the rules they were breaking and stopped breaking them, things began to change. Not because the business suddenly became easier, but because it became clearer and cleaner. They stopped fighting themselves. That burnout started to unwind. They wrote down their immutable laws and started implementing them. They started making the tough but necessary decisions. They started to fire customers. They weren't dealing with the people they wanted to serve. They let them go. They let go of employees that weren't a fit for the mission and the purpose of the company. And the funny thing is, the revenue really didn't disappear. In many cases, it got better. Because when they're in alignment, when they're clear, it creates clarity, and clarity creates momentum. Misalignment, on the other hand, is expensive. It drains your energy, it clouds judgment, and it makes every decision harder than it needs to be. And the reality most people don't want to face? You can't build a healthy business while consistently violating your own values. You can try to ignore that tension for a while. You can try to rationalize it. I can be pretty creative in my rationalization of things. You can try to numb it, but sadly, some try to numb it with alcohol or pulling away from everybody or ignoring it like it didn't happen. But eventually, it catches up. It always does. That's why your immutable laws matter. They're not perfect. They're more about consistency. Consistency with who you are and, frankly, who you aren't. For most of us, these laws sit in the back of our minds. They're unnamed, unexamined. And if you want to use them intentionally, you have to start paying attention to your reactions. When something triggers or angers or resentment sets in, take a pause. Not to replay the situation, but to ask yourself, what rule of yours was just crossed? When you feel genuine satisfaction or peace after a decision, do the same. Ask why that choice felt right. Those emotional signals are pointing you towards your immutable laws. And over time, patterns start to show up. You start to notice what truly matters to you. Honesty, respect, maybe it's generosity. Maybe it's accountability. Maybe it's authenticity. Not as words, but lived out as a standard for your life. Those are the rules you don't bend. And without paying a price internally, that's the best part. Now, once you identify them, write them down. Not to impress anyone, not to sound like you have it all together, but just to be clear. Make them short, direct, real. They're not marketing statements. Think of them as commitments. Commitments to yourself, your family, and your company. And here's what happens when you start using them. This is the best part. They start to guide your hiring decisions. They filter your clients. They simply help you make the tough calls. They give you a language and a solid reason for saying no without feeling guilty. And yes, it's not always easy, but living by clear values can and does cost you things. It may cost you a client. Maybe it costs a short-term revenue. Maybe it costs convenience. Maybe it costs a high-producing employee. But you know what? What it saves is far more important than what you could lose. It saves your integrity, your credibility as a leader, and the long-term health of your business can save that too. Have you ever told an employee that they'd be better off seeking an employment relationship somewhere else, only to either directly or indirectly hear the scuttlebutt that the other employees are saying? What took so long for them to fire them? I've never heard someone say they regretted enforcing their core values, but I've heard plenty of people say they regretted ignoring them. Immutable laws don't restrict you, they stabilize you. Here's a quote from Jocko Willink. Holding the line in those critical minutes will put you in an infinitely better place physically and mentally if you maintain the discipline. If you don't know who Jocko is, he's an author, podcaster, and a retired Navy SEAL. Immutable laws let your business grow without losing its soul. So here's the question worth asking. What are 3 to 5 rules you will not break no matter what? Not what sounds like you, not what you wish you were, what you actually live by. Name them. Work on them. Refine them. Make them conscious. Maybe you're not sure who you are anymore. Maybe the business has you so twisted you're tied up in knots. Here's a tip. While going through your day, think about things that are happening around you and to you. Dare I say, possibly because of you. What bothers you the most? Then ask yourself, why did it bother me? As an example, did you show up to an appointment and the other person either A, wasn't there, was running really, really late and didn't let you know, and it really bugged you? Why did it bug you? Was it because they were late, or was it because that they never let you know? In that case, one of your immutable laws might be you respect others' time. You show up early or on time every time. It's that old saying, early's on time is late, and late is unacceptable. Because when your business reflects who you are at a core, at a basic level, the work just doesn't function better. It feels so much better. And that kind of success lasts. It feels easier to do. You're not conflicted. You're not banging your head against the wall. Why isn't this? Why do my employees do what they want to do and not what I want them to do? Maybe it's because you haven't defined your own immutable laws. And if you have, and threw them in a drawer somewhere under a stack of papers, I highly recommend you grab them back out and take a look at them. And go over them, and think about them, and see if they still are what drives you and who you are. And if they're not, make the changes. If they are, that's great. Either way, if you have to make the changes or you don't, let your employees know. Let everybody internally in the company know this is what we stand for. This is our guardrails. We will not go left or right of these guardrails. They may be pretty wide. Now, I often think about those self-drive cars, quote unquote, in the amusement parks. That, you can let go and it'll bang both sides. But ultimately, it doesn't go off the track. It stays on the path that they designed for it. That's what your immutable laws do. Hey, if you're not sure where to start, need some help, or just looking to take your company to the next level, I want to invite you to join our email list where you'll get a weekly email with tips to grow your business. And email us to go deeper if you just want some coaching or somebody to talk to. We'd love to sit and talk with you. We offer a no-charge first appointment. It's an hour long. We'll answer whatever questions that you have. Hey, thanks again for listening, everybody. Have a great day.